Guys, I know it's been a hot minute, but I have so much curriculum and books to share with you guys. I have been collecting it over the past month, solely purchasing our curriculum and stuff. And I actually have more curriculum to come and more books to come, but it's taken up such a large amount of space in my home that I am going to have to do a part two. So this is going to be part one of my 2026/2027 homeschool curriculum for my rising fifth grader. I can't even believe it. Rising fifth grader, rising seventh grader. I mean, how did we get here? Okay, but before we get into it, I should do a little intro because it's been so long since I posted. So my name is Nancy. I also own a small business called Jack and Link where I make homeschool resources like dry erase boards and wooden boards and stuff. And the link is in the bio if you want to check it out. But I am very eclectic in my approach for homeschool with a strong classical backbone. Which I've newly come into and started to accept, so a lot of the curriculum that you see are going to have a lot of that classical underlayer to it and stuff. But this is the curriculum so far that I've picked. That doesn't mean I'm going to end up using it. Some of it may get returned after I flip through it and see through it and make sure that it really is going to fit for us. But this is for my upcoming fifth grader and my upcoming sixth grader. And I will do flip throughs of everything that I'm sharing with you guys in later videos. And if you follow me over on Instagram at Into the Rabbit Hole with me, I always turn your story notifications on because I post more in stories than I actually do to my feed. But catch me in stories over there because I'm always doing daily flip throughs of what a typical lesson looks like and stuff, But a deep dive into each curriculum is going to come just in separate videos. So stay tuned for that. Okay, let's dig into the stuff because I've forgotten half of the stuff that I had ordered and I'm dying to go through it. But don't forget, I'm going to do a part two later on. Okay, guys, so I have my stuff on a phone stand right now, so hopefully it will reduce the amount of shaking. I have already pre-opened up all the things. At first, I was going to open them up with you guys and everything, but then I was like, who's got time for all that? Let's just get down to the nitty gritty. So I got as an introduction into informal logic for both my kiddos to do family style with us, with me together. And so I know it says, I know it says grades 3 to 4, and I have an incoming fifth grader, incoming seventh grader, but I don't really care about that because the concepts in here are going to be the same and it's a more of a gentle introduction. So I know I said I wasn't going to be flipping through it, but we can spend some time going through the table of contents. So you can see you're going to start off with analogies, sequencing, all and no statements, and it's just going to keep going down. I thought, and then some inferencing and stuff. So to do a family style, just to do a quick, that was it. So there are 61 lessons. I don't know if you can, 53 to 54 lessons. So I thought we will be done with this in a couple months. We'll do this family style, then we'll move on to something else, right? So that something else did come in the mail. Something I'm going to be testing out with my oldest to be doing independently. And this is from the Critical Thinking Company, the basics of critical thinking. That bothers me that it came in all swished like that. You know what I mean? And I know I didn't buy it used because I wasn't going to risk there be writing on the inside. That bothers me. I'm going to have to return it because it's just going to bother me too much. Anyway. So at the same time, my rationale, my thinking process is while we're doing this family style, my oldest is also going to be doing this independently though. He's going to be working through this one. I like the look of this one a lot more than the other one. And it could just be that the font is different. Everything looks more clear cut, organized a little bit better. There's colorful pictures and all that stuff. But this other one also had amazing reviews in there. And so I'm willing to give it a shot. It's only going to take us a couple months to go through it if we do a family style. And then at the same time, my oldest, my incoming seventh grader can be doing this one. Now I do have my eye on a formal curriculum for, him to do. After we finish this. So I'm just conflicted. I'm waiting to see if there's a sale or something before I go and I purchase it. But along those lines, I also got the illustrated book of bad arguments. So this is just kind of like a cute book. I mean, that's what it is. It has some cute pictures. It was an impulse purchase, but it illustrates the concept. Let me move over here. Do you see how it says straw man? So you have an explanation on the left followed by an illustration on the right. And they do that for all of them. So then you have appeal to irrelevant authority. and you'll have an explanation, and then you have a cute little picture. So it just goes through all the different concepts with a quick intro on what it is with a cute little photo, you know? So like this one, you have hasty generalization, and then you have a cute little picture, you know? So I got that one to go along with it. But again, I don't know what I'm going to be doing with our informal logic, but I do want us to start it. We're going to take it slow. First, we're going to go taking all these steps over here with all these other workbooks, and then I think I'll wait to purchase it, you know, but I do have my eye on a different one. And I think the big runner up, and you guys have all heard of it, is The Art of Argument. Is that what it is? Or The Art of Logic? Or it's one of those. So Howard Zinn, so Voices of a People's History of the United States. I got this one because I am Frankensteining our history curriculum. We're going to be doing 2 simultaneous streams of world history with US history, and I'm totally Frankensteining this thing. And so I got this one because this Voices of People's History of the United States is filled with primary sources, with primary documents, firsthand accounts, like all that kind of stuff. So here's the table of contents in here, and you can see that there's going to be articles, there's documents, there's firsthand accounts, there's letters, all sorts of stuff. And so they are organized by date. So you can see Columbus at the top, then you have the first slaves, and then servitude and rebellion. And so I figured that I can pull some of this stuff out. Like you even have it all the way up to like the world wars and stuff, you know? So I thought that would be a good resource. Okay, so here we go. I decided to not pre-open this one because I like to get excited too, because some of the stuff I haven't seen in like a couple months, you know? Oh, here's another one that came smushed, but I'm sticking with it. I'm not returning it. Our states have crazy shapes, panhandles, boot heels, knobs, and points. The really interesting stuff you didn't learn in American history class. So if I remember correctly, let me push this off to the side. If I remember correctly, this has more to do on why the state boundaries were drawn up like that. Okay, so in Cliff Notes version. And then let's see the table of contents. Yeah, it's going to go through all the states. So Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, Connecticut, all that kind of stuff, right? Probably starting with the 13 colonies and talking about it. And so I thought that would be a really fun tie-in, because we are going to be doing one of these boxes is going to have our US geography and some world history curriculum in it. And so it's just kind of like a narrative. It's just telling you a story through all of them. I have it on a stand. Hold on. Let me see if I can make it a little bit better for you guys to see. So see, you have the state Tennessee, and then it just has some information on each of it, on each of the states. A river runs through it, and that's a problem. Water rights, but of a different kind. Jefferson's ideal of equal states. And then, now we're starting. So that was the intro. So now we have chapter 1, Delaware. And then it's going to talk about how the lines were drawn for that. There's going to be some maps. There's going to be some geography tied in. And then Pennsylvania, same exact thing. So a few pages, it looks like, per state. See, and then you have New Jersey. And then that's it with some maps. Okay, so I got that. And then I got In the Shadow of the Alamo. I saw this on a book list somewhere. I want to say Bookshark or one of the ones, but obviously this is going to tie into our US history when we're doing it. And this is what it is on the back. I don't remember, or else I'd summarize it for you. I don't remember, but I thought that would be like a good one, because our background knowledge on the Alamo isn't as strong as I would have liked it. Okay, our island story. I actually saw DDC Homeschool, I think it was. She talked about it. She had a whole YouTube. She didn't have a whole YouTube video on our island story, but I think she did an unboxing. And this was one of the things in there. Or she talked about the book. One of those. So our island story, and I'll just like do a quick flip through. There doesn't seem to be any illustrations or anything like that, but the storyline, the narrative is supposed to be really good. So I'm excited to dive into that one. So our island story. Okay, now I have some other boxes over here that I pre-opened, but I have not opened it. Oh, this one, Never Caught, the story of Ona Judge. I actually got this book from the library. My library actually has a copy, but I liked it so much I wanted our own version, and we're going to do a book study on this when the time comes and we cover this period. So I have this in my notes. It's going to be a family read aloud that we do and stuff. It is so interesting. So this is the Young Readers Edition. But if you have the chance and you have the time, I definitely recommend the regular one. And if I have a moment, I'll go grab it because it's literally sitting on my coffee table because I'm reading my way through it, and it is so riveting and it just blows my mind in it. And so when I saw that they had a Young Readers Edition of it, because you don't really want the full-on one quite yet for your younger ones, probably in high school, I think it would probably be like more appropriate, but there is, you know, discussions of, you know, sexual abuse and things like that in the regular one. But in here, it's not as prevalent, you know? So Young Readers Edition, Never Caught. Okay. And then the other one I also saw from DDC Homeschool. This is one that she talked about. And this is one I'm probably going to have to move the camera. Hold on. I'm going to move the camera. So my oldest is more advanced in his literature and his writing, his composition, and it's been such a challenge. You would think that that would be great, and it is, but it's also a bit of a challenge when I'm putting together his ELA every year because it never seems to challenge him enough. And then you have to find this careful balance between being able to challenge him, but the maturity level may not necessarily be there for some of like the higher level readings that he would and wants to be able to do. Does that make sense? Like there's a difference between intellectually being ready for something, but maturity wise, not ready for some of those conversations that you would need to have in your more upper level courses, you know? So anyway, so I saw this in DDC Homeschool and she was talking about it and I thought it was very intriguing. It's more of a handbook type of thing. From what I understand, I don't know. You can see it's still in saran wrap. So I'm going to be finding out. But whatever she said a couple months ago when I was watching her video apparently resonated with me because I went and I purchased it. But I couldn't tell you for the life of me right now because I've forgotten since then. But I plan on opening it up, seeing what it's all about, seeing what I can pull from there. It's more of an education for myself until I can really implement this into his studies. Okay. I have to open up more boxes. Hold on. Okay, so this is my rainbow resource order and I just went ahead and I opened it up. I opened it up ahead of time. I'm sorry. But writing with skill level 2, we have done level 1. He's technically not finished with it. We paused it in December and we have not picked it back up yet because we were doing some other writing based program like exploring the world through story and doing like some other stuff. And then we decided to take a break from it, but he only has tops 20% left in that one. So maybe 2-3 weeks left. I mean, really, I should have just finished it out before jumping into exploring the world through story. But we kind of needed a little bit of a break because it can be a little bit intense, you know? But writing with skill, he's moving on to level 2. So he has that going on. I'm actually going to try it. This is my little phone holder that I've been trying to like, so that way I can use both hands. I don't know if that's going to work, but for now it's going to work. Okay. So that's the instructor level 1. Here's the student text one. And again, I will do flip throughs of these at a later time. Okay. Now you guys can see better. So When Hitler Stole Pink Rabbit. So I got that one primarily as just a, independent read for my oldest because he loves all things like World War I, World War II and stuff. And so I picked that up for him. And then the children's Plutarch, Tales of the Romans. So I got this one. I've heard so much about it in Charlotte Mason circles. And again, we're not Charlotte Masoners, but that's why I call myself eclectic. I pull from all different sorts, but I do think I have a strong, more of like a classical backbone. So it's eclectic with a classical backbone. That's the way I would describe our style. Okay, so I'm going to go open up the other boxes. And this is the first Memoria Press order. There's another one that I have, but I think I got this through their charter website, which I only just recently found out that if you purchase it through their charter website, it has secular curriculum. And then the stuff that you get from their regular website obviously is there's going to be some non-secular content like tied in, you know? So this was through, I believe this one was through the charter website that they have. So Famous Men of Rome Teacher's Guide. And I got the one with the video content in it. So you can have accompanying videos with it. And that's what I ended up getting for him. So Famous Men of Rome and the student guide. So teacher's guide, student guide. And then, what is this? I think this is the text. So this is, yeah, the text. But again, there's videos. So I know we're doing world history. We're doing early modern world history. So we're doing it basically from the time of Columbus, okay? So I know that this is after, or before, sorry. I know that this is before, not really within the time period that we're going to be covering, but it doesn't matter to me. He likes this kind of stuff often enough that he's not going to mind. So I got this in particular for him because, again, he loves history and he loves this kind of stuff. So it doesn't matter to me that it's not overlapping with any of our historical timelines. Would I have preferred for it to overlap with our period of history that we're learning about? Of course, but I'm rolling with it. So they have Famous Men of Rome. They have Famous Men of Greece. And I think they have one for modern men. So I almost did the modern men because that would tie in a little bit better with our history, but I decided to go with this. So there are video-based lessons. So over on Instagram, you can follow along over there. And as he starts to use it, I will definitely be sharing that. This is my other Memoria Press box. So this was placed from like their regular website. And then I was just being lazy. I didn't want to pick it up and put it on the table. So technically, this is the only unboxing so far that you've seen, right? All right, let's see if I can pry this open. I'm trying to do it one-handed. Okay. So I've used Memoria Press in the past before here and there, but it's only recently that I've really decided to really give it a shot, you know? Okay, hold on. I'm going to open it. Okay, so I have the box open, and this is going to have my geography stuff in here. All right, I don't even remember. I think this was one of the first things that I got. So states and capitals, I'm a huge proponent of flashcards. So if there was a flashcard for it, I think it was only like $3.50. Maybe it was $5.50, something like that. So I went and I got that. And then geography flashcards. It's going to have, I think, the country on the front, and then you got to do the capital, I think, along the back, or maybe it's only going to show you the capital, where it's located, and then you have to name the country, like on the front. One of those things. Okay, so I do remember I got two different. Yeah, I have world geography. I'm deciding to focus on the Middle East, North Africa, and Europe. So here's a student text. And, oh, I got two copies. I got two copies of each because I have two kids. So student text. So we plan on doing this family style. Oh, this is To Kill a Mockingbird. Hold on, let's come back to that because, okay, these are the study guides. Hold on, we're going to come back to these. I'll show that here in a second. So, what is this? Okay, traditional spelling 5. So my incoming 5th grader is going to be doing this one. And then where is the teacher's guide for geography? Let's go into this. Okay, To Kill a Mockingbird. I did get a couple guides. Hold on a second. Okay, we'll circle back to that. All right, here are the teacher's guide. All right, so you have the teacher's guide in here, and I have two copies of the student guide. So this is what the teacher's guide looks like. I really like the maps, and I have a new philosophy when it comes to geography and stuff. Some stuff is just gonna have to be rote memorization. Like you just have to memorize it, you know? So anyway, so then there's that, and then I have okay, so we have the Middle East. Okay, so that's the student workbook. This is the teacher's guide, and you have the student text. Okay, so you have student text, teacher's guide, student workbook. And then the student workbook, because I got one for each child. Okay, so that is the world geography, what I'm going to be using, focusing on the Middle East, North Africa, and Europe. But I also got a U.S. history one, because we're going to be doing more study guides. I can't wait to look at them, though. But hold on, let's get to the U.S. geography one. Oh, it's not here. I wonder if that's one of the things I'm waiting for. So then we have the teacher's manual for traditional spelling. Do we need the teacher's manual? I will find out whenever I can take a look at this and do a flip through for you guys. I will do like a different video, you know, because not all the time do you need a teacher's manual. I just picked it up because this is our first time doing it. And so I didn't not want to have it, you know? So anyway, I do have US geography in addition to this, and I don't know where it is. So I will have to look that order up, because it was a little bit ago that I got it. So anyway, let's look at some of the guides. So some of the guides that I got are My Side of the Mountain, 2 copies each, with the teacher's guide. I got Heidi, only one, because I'm only going to be doing it with one child. So teacher's guide and then student guide. And then I also got The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. I'm only going to be doing this with one child, so I only got one. So then I got one. And then I have To Kill a Mockingbird. Oh, that's cool. Look, the guide is done this way. So you have the student guide in here. For some reason, I thought it was the book. And I was like, oh, I must have gotten the book. It's not the book. It's the student guide. So you have the student guide and then the teacher's guide in there. Okay, I think that is it. So there you go, guys. That is not everything. I have a part 2 coming up. Part 2 will be like later on once I get all the things, probably like in a couple weeks, because I have things from Thrift Books, from A Books, from other curriculum places, and I'm waiting for it to come. Plus, I'm making some last minute decisions on science with my youngest, now my upcoming rising 5th grader and stuff. So stay tuned for that. But drop a comment. Let me know what you're most excited to see a flip through of.